Pink Floyd, ja, dat is de koning op dit moment. Hè. Die staan 3 keer in de top 10. Queen is de queen, maar Pink Floyd is de koning. En wij zochten... Wat, Leo, jij hebt Roger Waters opgezocht. Omdat hij weer met de Wall aan het toeren is. Hè?
Ja, precies. Zo'n instituut als waar de Sex Pistols zich tegen verzetten. Maar de Wall wordt komende jaar in september in de Arena Amsterdam... wordt een enorme stadiontour. Wordt nog mooier, nog groter als dat het was. De hele Wall opnieuw live uitgevoerd. En daar wilde meneer
jij sprak hem in New York, hè?
Wel even over praten. Ja.
Roger Waters.
In the mid-70s, well, I'd only just figured out, like a year before or a couple of years before, that I was living my life, that I wasn't actually preparing for something. That life was not something that was going to start at some point. This sudden realization that, you know, it started a long time ago, you just didn't notice. Really, the most important thing about that song is not the relationship with the school teacher. I think it was the first little thing I wrote where I lyrically expressed the idea that you could build a wall out of a number of different bricks that when they fitted together provided something impermeable, you know, and so this was just one of them. When you hit puberty and start getting snotty, it's good to have an adult around who will say, well, hang on, let's talk about that, rather than be quiet.
Is that how you experienced it?
Yeah, I experienced it as be quiet. Nobody's interested in what you think. Shut up, you're here to learn, you know. But I don't know how much that's true now. I think kids these days, hopefully, have more of a voice. I thought whether or not I had another big tour in me, and it was my wife Laurie, in fact, said to me, well, if you do go out again, you have to do the Wall. And I went, nah, that's too much. No, that's too big. But then I started thinking about it and then I started thinking, could we? Is it possible? And in the end, having decided that physically I could do it, I then realized that emotionally and intellectually it was of no interest to me unless I made it less about Pink and more about to try and address some fundamental universal philosophical and political issues. So that's why the show is very different than it was in 1979. In those days, the archetypal fear was still that nuclear war thing. Now, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to start wondering if the veneer of democracy that we spread thinly over what we call freedom may be a very thin veneer indeed, and that the amount of influence that we, the people, actually have on what happens can be remarkably thin. It's a bit like Obama. you know, to sit in a room with 2 or 3 other people and decide who lives and who dies in foreign countries with no recourse to evidence or law or anything at all. And then somebody, some you know, USAF officer sits playing a video game in Idaho and kills them. And probably a few, you know, maybe 50 other people as well. But the fact that the President of the United States thinks it's okay to sit in a fucking Oval Office and decide who should live and who should die in the Yemen is insane. And yet nobody, you know, it's just like we're all Stepford wives. We all go, duh, duh, and we go about our business and nobody says anything about it. Perpetual warfare for no reason except to make money. They make no sense at all. None. You're just throwing away young men's lives in some foreign country.
Ja.